Big game is a conference opener for both teams. Both teams trying to get back to the SIAC championship. Fort Valley State, of course, first year of football is 1945. 11 times they've taken the SIAC title, including 2 seasons ago. Last year losing to Tuskegee 13-6 at home to the SIAC championship. Miles, first year of football, 1910. It's the 108th season of college football here for Miles College. It's won the SIAC title 4 times, last time doing so in 2015. But 2016, Kentucky State went to the title game out of the West, and last year it was Tuskegee. Tuskegee, the defending champion in the SIAC. Fort Valley State getting ready to kick off. The Abazai Gutierrez kicking off. And back deep for Miles. We'll have the Anthony Robinson and Leonard Tyree. Last season, Tyree averaged 21.8 yards per return. One of the top kick returners in the SIAC. Great to have you with us here on Flow Sports. First game of our coverage of SIAC football. We'll take you all the way to the week before the SIAC championship game, which will be hosted by the winner of the West Division. Both of these teams were picked to finish second in their respective divisions, Fort Valley in the East to Albany State, and Miles in the West to Tuskegee. Game is underway here from Fairfield. Robinson will field it at the 10. Tries to take it to the left side, and there he goes down the sideline. Now cuts it back, and is tackled from behind at around the 41-yard line. And that's where Miles will set up shop. They'll mark it at the 40-yard line. So Daniel Smith, the southpaw. We've got 2 southpaw quarterbacks in this game. So far this season, Daniel Smith completing 50% of his passes for 299 yards. And of course, Santee Marshall in the backfield. Lee at the bottom of the screen. We have Malik Campbell, Tyree, and Robinson up at the top. 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. And Smith fakes it and tries to run it, and he'll be sandwiched by a pair of Wildcats on the defensive side. Like Andrew Robinson and David Brown with the first 2 there. And actually lost a yard on the play, so it'll be 2nd down. 2nd and 11. This Miles team averaging just 84 yards per game on the ground. I'm trying to get started on the ground here. Smith back to pass. Under pressure, and he's taken down. Back at the 30-yard line. Kim Floyd was one of the first men there for Fort Valley State. And right away, Miles is behind the chains. Facing 3rd and long. 3rd and 19 from the 31-yard line. 4 receivers set. Smith in the shotgun. Looks over to the sideline. Not a lot of plays for 3rd and 19. So Fort Valley State has come out here first 2 plays and has come up with big losses here for Miles College. Smith to throw. Left side, complete to Robinson. Tries to make a move, and right there is Wiggum to make the stop at the 40-yard line. They'll mark him at the 41. They'll pick up 10, but it won't be enough for the 1st down, so they'll have to go back and punt. And it'll be Jake Anderson punting for Miles College. So a good start for Fort Valley State's defense as the Golden Bears go 3 and out. And back deep, Lorenzo Smothers, one of the best receivers in the SIAC. And, of course, Coach Porter telling me earlier in the week that he wants Lorenzo to get more touches this season. Well, it's one of the ways that can happen. First team kick returner last season. Anderson's punt. And will bounce inside the 25. Off the helmet of one of the players from Miles. It'll be down at the 11-yard line, and that's where Fort Valley State will start its first offensive possession. So Fort Valley State led by Slade Jarman. Last year was newcomer of the year this season, completing 59% of his passes for 455 yards, 1 touchdown, just 2 interceptions. Fort Valley State offensive line has already given up 11 sacks. It's most in the SIAC through the first 2 games. First down from the 12-yard line. First possession for Fort Valley State. 3 wideouts. Clark in the backfield. And he'll get the carry. Tries to cut back to the other side. And there's Austin Stevens with another tackle to start off this game. He'll get up to the 15-yard line. It'll be a 3-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down and 7. And quickly to the line. Coach Porter said there were better drives last week. Even in the 55-6 loss to Fort Valley State, there was marked improvement as far as holding on to the ball. And just as I say that, there's a fumble picked up by Stevens, and he rolls it into the end zone for a Miles touchdown. Austin Stevens, already all over the field, comes up with a fumble by German off the snap and takes it in for about a 5-yard score. And we've got our first points of the game. Miles College on top 6-0. 3 minutes into the first quarter. German just could not handle the snap. It bounced around and Stevens picked it up and scored. The junior from Munford, Alabama. So extra point now for Brady Hamill. And the kick is good. So Miles College getting a defensive score to start things off here on Flow Sports. It's 7-0, 12:05 to play here in the first quarter. So Miles with the defense getting the first score of the ball game. So Fort Valley State now -4 in turnover margin. After that last fumble, that has been an issue for Fort Valley State this season, is hanging on to the ball. And Fort Valley State once again giving up big points in the first quarter. Fort Valley State has been outscored 35-0 in the first quarter this season. But this was a play by the Miles defense, so it'll be Miles to kick off. Coming out to do so will be Hamill, back deep to receive the kick for Fort Valley State. We've got Lorenzo Smothers and Jeremy McCants. So just underway, and if you just tuned in, you missed the first score of the game. Austin Stevens with a 5-yard return for a touchdown on the off the fumble from German. Score 7-0. Hamill. It's a short kick. Smothers coming over to get to it. It's live. Picked up at the 15, and Smothers trying to go down the sideline. He's finally wrapped up at the 26-yard line, and that's where Fort Valley State will start this next possession. So an uneasy start for the Wildcats. Both teams looking for the first win of the season. Not a good start for the Wildcats here. Defense got a 3-and-out. Then the offense gives up the points. Start from the 25-yard line, 11:58 to play here in the first quarter. Jarman looks over to the sideline with Clark in the backfield. Mack and Smothers to the right-hand side. Smothers goes in motion. The handoff goes to Clark. Clark tests the middle, and he'll be stacked up. The flag has come in right at the 25-yard line, so right back to the line of scrimmage. Like Horn and Roberts converged on the stop. Also, Shelton was there. We'll see the first penalty of the ball game. So no flag. So no gain on first down. It will be second down from the 25-yard line. Jarman looking over. In the backfield with him now is Willie Jordan, junior from Warner Robins, Georgia. Three receivers set again. Smothers again in motion. And Jordan gets the handoff. He won't get much on that play as he gets up to the 28-yard line. 2 yards on that one. And again, a host of Bears there to make the stop. Well, Shelton with another tackle. Shelton, preseason first team SIAC performer. 3rd and 8 from the 27. Three receivers again. Again, Fort Valley State going to the sideline. They fake the handoff. Jarman looking to pass, but he'll be taken down. That was Kadarius Roberts once again, and the flags come in. Someone's helmet got ripped off at the end of the play. So Roberts gets his first sack of the season, the transfer from Jacksonville State. And flags everywhere, so as bad as it could get for Fort Valley State, it has, but it's going to get helped. So personal foul against Miles. So wipes away a potential stop on 3rd down. And so from the previous spot, they'll mark it 15 yards. So 10:29 to play here in the first quarter. Fort Valley State will have it around the 43-yard line. So Roberts with the sack, but unfortunately the personal foul keeps the Fort Valley State offense on the field. Back to Smothers to the bottom of the picture. And now referee winds the clock, so we're ready for action. Clark in the backfield again. At the top, A.J. Shipman and Jamari Brown at the top. 4 wideouts for Fort Valley State. Underneath to Clark, and Clark is quickly wrapped up again. Not much doing front. Gregory Matthews, one of the first there, along with Antonio Evans. Bring up 2nd down at about 9. He picked up a yard to the 44-yard line. It's been a struggle so far to start this game for the Fort Valley State rushing game. Last in the SIAC, they're actually averaging negative yards rushing this season, negative 8.5. I'm sure they've passed that at this point. There's Clark again. Clark trying the right side. And he's tripped up as he crosses the 45 to the 47-yard line. Matthews makes another tackle, comes over to the sideline. 3rd down and 6, 47-yard line. Miles shows blitz. Again, Jarman going to the sideline. See if Fort Valley State will test this Miles secondary on this next play. Trying to establish a running game so far and has not been effective. Jarman goes back to pass. Under pressure now, escapes the pocket. Flag is down, could be holding. And he's tackled behind. And again, tackle behind the backfield. We do have a flag on the play. Looks like that's going to be holding against Fort Valley State, so the penalty will be declined. Nick Floyd made the tackle. So, first punt of the game for Fort Valley State. Mashburn back to punt, 10th punt of the season. And back for Miles is Lee Anthony Robinson. He's standing at his own 20. It's a short punt. Going to bounce at the Miles 40, get a roll. And it's going to be down at the 26-yard line. Flags flying everywhere. There are about 3 or 4 flags on the field. And Coach Ruffin is really upset. And one of his players, that's Nate Williams Jr. It's going to be a penalty. Going to be a penalty against Miles. There are 4 flags on the field. Almost everybody on the field threw a flag. So Miles will keep the ball, but they'll be trapped deep in its own territory. Marking it off from the 26. So Miles up 7-0, 8:27 to play here in the first quarter. Austin Stevens with a fumble return touchdown for 5 yards out, giving the Golden Bears the lead in its home opener. Both teams 0-2 coming in, looking to get SIAC play off to a good start. Right now, Miles starting this drive from its own 13. Montavious Tinch goes in motion. Smith dropped the snap, and that hurt the timing of the plays. He tried to get it to Marshall. It's like Voris Bryant was the first man to make the tackle. Marshall starting his second game in place of Justin Hardy, the preseason SIAC Player of the Year. Marshall with 65 rushing yards coming into the season, sophomore from New Orleans. He lost a couple on that one, so it'll be 2nd and 12 from the 11. And off to Marshall. Tests the middle. Breaking a few tackles. He crosses the 15. Gets out near the 17-yard line. That'll be a 6-yard pickup and bring up a 3rd down and 6. So Marshall getting half the yards he needed to pick up that first down. He will come out. So 3rd down. Three wide and 4 wide receivers for Miles. 7:18 to play. Smith to throw. Comes left side, and it's almost intercepted. Wiggum might have had 6 points for Fort Valley State's defense, but drops it. Looks like he was looking for Antonio Leadley. Anthony Robinson was also in the area for Miles, but Smith almost threw his 3rd pick of the season. And Wiggum will be thinking about that one for a while as he hits to the sideline. Smothers goes back to receive this punt from Anderson. Smothers moves up towards midfield. This one off the side of the foot, and this will be a short punt. It'll be interesting to see where they mark this. They mark it at the 27. That's an 11-yard punt for Anderson, so not one of his better efforts. And it sets up Fort Valley State in prime real estate. So even though they don't get the interception, it's around the area where Wiggum would have caught the interception. They start this drive from the 32-yard line. Well, it was actually a 16-yard punt. So German and Fort Valley State ready to start this possession. On the plus side of the 50. Jordan in the backfield. With Jalen Loader. Matt goes in motion. Jordan gets the handoff, tests the outside. Stevens is there, and he's able to wrestle him down. Also got help from Maxwell Wells. So they'll lose yardage back to the 36-yard line. That'll be a 4-yard loss. So Stevens, asked Coach Ruffin about Stevens. He says he's the one that every coach asks about, whether they're the SIAC or anywhere else, that he is all over the field, does his business quietly, and got a tackle for loss there. 2nd and 14 for Fort Valley State. Trying to tie the score here at 7, 5:37 to play here in the opening quarter. Jordan again wrapped up as soon as he gets to the line of scrimmage. That time Jalen Thomas was the first man there. Again, this Miles defense is we've got an injured Golden Bear coming off the side. That's Antonio Evans, so that will change up the lineup for Miles. Third down and 14 again. No gain on the play. Jarman again looks at the sideline. Clark back in the backfield. 4 wide receivers. Jarman to throw. Looks this side. Pass complete to Clark, and then he is decked. Sliding the play all the way, Ruben Sarton, the transfer from Stillman. Clark makes the catch. No gain on the play. It'll be 4th down. And looks like it is going to be the offense is coming back onto the field. And we might have a timeout here by Fort Valley State. So Fort Valley State calls timeout with 4:11 to play here in the first quarter. Miles up 7-0 after the 5-yard fumble return touchdown by Austin Stevens on the first Fort Valley State possession. We'll be back to Albert J. Sloan Alumni Stadium in just a moment. You're watching SIAC Football on Flo Sports.
Pratt's got him, long throw over, and he got it.
Fourth down and 13. Fort Valley State going for it. And we've got another timeout, this time by Miles. So Miles checking out the alignment and not liking something there. So we have another timeout. Both teams now with 2 timeouts remaining. Kevin Porter, the reigning coach of the year in the SIAC, back-to-back SIAC East titles. They won the SIAC East title last year despite losing the final game of the season to Albany State, the Fountain City Classic at the end of the year. Still had enough wins in conference play to get to the championship game, got to host it, losing 13-6 to Tuskegee. And Tuskegee, again, looking like every part of the defending champion. Of course, the first week Tuskegee lost to Alabama State for the first time since 2011. Again, 4th and 13. Fort Valley State looking to get its first 4th down conversion of the season. Jarman over the middle, wide open, pass is caught. Sarton makes the tackle. And that'll be a first down for Fort Valley State. That one caught by O'Brien Anderson, graduate transfer from Miami, transfer from Mississippi Valley State. And that one good for 23 yards down to the 12-yard line. So the first completion of the game for Jarman is for a first down. First time for Fort Valley State in the red zone. 6th time it's gotten to the red zone. Jarman fakes the handoff, now gives it to Smothers. Smothers tries to get outside the block of Davis, but could not do it. Wells over there again to make the stop. It's inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. Quickly back up to the line, 2nd down and 6 from the 8-yard line. 4 wide receivers again for Fort Valley State. Jordan in the backfield. Smothers goes in motion. Jarman looking to throw. Over the middle, man is in the end zone, and it was almost intercepted by C.J. McClellan. He just could not hang on to it. So we've had a couple of those dropped by defensive backs and linebackers. As McClellan was right there, trying to hit Jeffrey Mack in the back of the end zone. And just really threw it short. If he had thrown it a little bit higher, Mack was open in the back of the end zone, so we've seen that a couple of times. Receivers getting open. 3rd down and 6. And we've got another timeout, Fort Valley State. 2nd timeout of this possession. Next week, Miles will head to Chicago to take on Morehouse. You'll be able to watch that game on Flow Sports next week. Fort Valley State will head to Columbia, South Carolina to take on East Division foe Benedict in the Palmetto Capital City Classic. That's next Sunday, the 23rd. That game will also be streamed right here on Flow Sports, so it's going to be a busy weekend. It'll be a very busy weekend, a lot of driving for some of us on the crew. Kamari Darrington here up at the top, James Crenshaw in the truck. And Fort Valley State facing 3rd and 6 from its own 8-yard line, 3:07 to play. Joined now by A. Moore on this 3rd down. Jarman over the middle, passes incomplete.
They've got a big tight end there, number 2. And Miles actually had some trouble last week dealing with that Mikhail Yancey. You got a big target like that. He put it in there. Good defense there by number 2, Kendrell Walker. But that looks like one he probably should have caught. He had the inside position for sure.
So we'll have a field goal attempt here by Abazai Gutierrez. So far in the season, 2 for 4 on field goals. This will be a 25-yard attempt. Smothers the holder. Ball is down, and the kick looked like it was blocked. That'll be no good. Looked like it was blocked. Might have been Jalen Thomas on that left side.
Miles' special teams has been very special the last couple of years. They've had at least 2 blocks each of the last 3 seasons. Jalen Thomas is one of those guys who can get that good push up the middle, and he was able to get his hand on it. You know, Fort Valley State and Miles both have had to make some changes on the kick team. They both graduated kickers who were all conference the last couple of years. Nick Christensen for the Golden Bears, right. Juan Cerna for the Wildcats. So you're running some freshmen out here who haven't had quite the opportunity to kick at this level. So it's going to be, you know, some growing pains, a little trial and error, if you will. And that time it didn't work for Fort Valley State.
So Miles will set up shop right at the 20-yard line. Smith, another low snap. We got a flag on the play. He was looking to hand the ball off to Marshall.
A lot of changes for the Golden Bears on offense. You know, they're working with their 3rd game, their 3rd different line combination. I know you've talked a little bit about Daniel Smith. He didn't even play football last year on the collegiate level. So, you know, they're all kind of working, and it's a work in progress, hoping that once you get to the latter portions of the season that the teams and the players have gelled so that they can make a run for a championship. And I'm sure that's the case on both sides.
Fort Valley State has been a kind of late bloomer the last 2 seasons, still able to make it to the SIAC championship with slow starts. Empty backfield, Smith throws to the left side. That pass is caught by Antonio Lee. And he'll bring it across the 25. He'll bring it out to the 25-yard line. That'll be
like
good for a 10-yard pickup.
2nd and 5 there. And Antonio Lee was the leading receiver on this team last year, but he only had 12 catches. Let you know how little they ran it with Justin Hardy out there doing the majority of the offensive work. But they've got some very capable pass catchers on the Miles side of the football.
How does not having Hardy in the backfield kind of change what Miles has had to do so far?
Well, we'll talk about it here in a second here as Daniel Smith with the quarterback keeper that's going to pick up enough for a first down.
15 yards on the play.
And so when you're talking about Justin Hardy not being in there, he is a power back with speed. You know, he's 5'8", about 170 pounds. He certainly has no problem running in between the tackles, but if he gets to the outside on you, he can certainly break. He had 5-6 plays last year that went for more than 80 yards.
Daniel Smith now, after the 15-yard run, now back to pass. Breaks the pocket, and now he'll run it again. And he's got first down yardage one more time. As Aaron Dorr was over there to push him out of bounds at the Fort Valley 48-yard line, so 12 more for Daniel Smith.
Last week, Daniel Smith showed his ability to be able to move out of the pocket. And when Miles is spreading teams wide, as it did against one of the top teams in Division II, West Alabama, they've been able to pick up big chunks of yards. He threw for 233 in the first half last week, running mostly with 5 wide.
It's like That's where Miles is going on this possession. 5 wides throughout this entire possession. And they're in it again. So into Fort Valley State territory as the final minute of the first quarter ticks down. Smith again to throw. Far side, up top, going for Lee, but it's incomplete. Prather on the coverage.
Prather did a great job there on that coverage. Never let Lee get more than like a quarter of a step away from him. And Smith tried to hit the seam right there and tried to get it in a tight spot, but Prather stayed disciplined and was able to keep him from making the catch. Second down.
So 2nd and 10. 28 seconds left here in the first quarter. And of course, the Miles defense comes up with that first score. Seemed to really get this crowd involved in the game to start the game.
And that's one thing Miles' defense has done over the last several years. They've got nearly 20 touchdowns over the last 4 years on the defense and special teams.
Smith wanted to throw it to Robinson. He gets out of the pocket and trying to stiff arm, but it's not going to work as Robinson had a vice grip on Daniel Smith on that one. Lose yards.
Sometimes it's about staying disciplined, especially when you've seen the quarterback start to make his move outside of the pocket the last couple of plays. You've got to have somebody kind of keep an eye on him, and that time Robinson did that. Smith almost could have caught a penalty. You got to be careful in putting that stiff arm to someone's head now.
Yeah, you can't do that. That'll be the end of the first quarter. Miles College holding a 7-0 lead over Fort Valley State. At the end of the first quarter, you are watching SIAC Football on Flow Sports.
I'll be back.
Welcome back to Fairfield, Alabama, Elwood J. Sloan Alumni Stadium. Right now, Miles with a 7-0 lead on Fort Valley State. Golden Bears in Fort Valley State territory as we get started with the second quarter. I'm Kamari Darrington. A. Moore's going back and forth being the PA announcer to color analyst here. He's got, of course, doing color analyst for Miles as well, and the team's getting resituated. I thought that Miles was on the plus side of the 50. It should be on the Fort Valley State 48 on the other side. They did not have the ball marked in the right spot. It's going to be 3rd and 14. Actually, they did have the loss on that last play, so they are back on the negative side of the 50. So we'll be 3rd and 14. Now the chains have to get reset. Chain should be at the Fort Valley State 48, should start there. Going down to the 38-yard line. Looks like they've got everything resituated. How are we switching over teams? Sometimes everybody gets confused. And 4 wideouts here for Miles. Robinson goes in motion. Smith looking to throw. Backpedaling under pressure, and he throws it short. Incomplete. It's like tried to hit Marshall on the screen. David Brown was over there to make sure that Marshall would not get very far. So the incomplete pass brings up 4th down. And we've got whistles on the play. Side judge coming in from about the 40-yard line. See what this, is that a flag? It's interesting. Well, there's a lot of discombobulation going on here with the crew here. It's the 3rd week of the season. Still some kinks to work out. Not sure what the situation was there, but in any event, Anderson back again. Smothers inside his own 20. This one is going to go over towards the sideline. Smothers fields it at about the 13. Makes a move up the sideline, and he'll step out of bounds out near the 30. And we've got some more pushing and shoving after the play. They'll mark him out at the 25-yard line. That's where Fort Valley State will start the next possession. Fort Valley State with an opportunity on the last possession, but Gutierrez's 25-yard field goal attempt was blocked. We've also had a fumble return touchdown by Miles. That's how it's got it for its first points of the game. So we're 30 seconds into the second quarter. Clark in the backfield on first down. And a little flip here to A.J. Shipman. And A.J. almost lost the football. And he's finally tackled at the 28-yard line. Stop made by Gregory Matthews. Junior out of Stockbridge has had a very good first half so far. It's the fourth tackle he's had today. Quickly to the line, Fort Valley State. 2 yards on the game, be second down and 8. Jarman again over to the line, over to the sideline, trying to get the play. Shipman again in motion. And this time the handoff goes to Clark. Almost bobbled it. Comes left side. Breaks a tackle at the 35. Still going. And he's finally pushed out of bounds by Walker at the 48-yard line. So that one good for 20 yards. Longest rush play of the day for Fort Valley State. And Clark is a little fired up as he picks up a first down for Fort Valley State. Wildcats quickly back up to the line once again. The Fort Valley State team that came in third worst total offense totals in the league, 222 yards per game. It's just been a struggle so far offensively. Jarman to pass, Shipman out here in the flat, and Stevens pushes him out at midfield. 2 more yards for Shipman. So A.J. Shipman has got a couple touches on this drive and has produced. Second and 8 for the Wildcats. This has been the best drive so far for Fort Valley State, just in terms of being able to move the ball down the field. Clark gets the handoff, tests the middle, and is quickly disposed at the Miles 49. Mitchell Smiley was there. He's in for Evans. 3rd and 7 now. Just a 1-yard gain on the play from Clark. Now Jarman going to the sideline. They've had some success over the middle, finding a spot left by Miles. Just haven't been able to really exploit it. Here's Jarman, left side, right side. The pass is complete. That's Jamari Brown, the sophomore from Perry, Georgia. And he'll have a first down after a 15-yard reception to the 33-yard line. So Fort Valley State, its best drive of the game, continues on the 3rd and 7. This team just averaging 34% on third downs this year. But now has a first down at the 33. 11-10 to play here in the second quarter. Fake to Jordan, and here comes Jarman. Jarman on the move. I remind you of Tim Tebow, the lefty with number 15. He takes it down to the 25-yard line, so an 8-yard pickup for Jarman. So this drive, Fort Valley State has really seemed to get his rushing game going, and that has been the biggest issue for Fort Valley State offensively this season. And Coach Porter probably tell you this is the best Fort Valley State his team has run so far in the 2 games. At the 25-yard line, 2nd and 2. Here's Jordan around the right side, and he'll have a first down Doesn't get much, but it is enough for the first down as he gets down to the 22-yard line. 3 more yards. Fort Valley State knocking on the red zone. Just outside of it. It's a 4-yard gain for Jordan. And he's still in the back. Now Clark in the backfield. 4 wide receivers. Trips to the near side. Smothers in motion. Jarman looks for Smothers. He has it. Makes a move inside the 20 and then is finished off at the 15-yard line by Shelton. So Shelton and Stevens have had good starts along with Gregory Matthews. That play good for 7 yards. 2nd and 3 from the 14. Fort Valley State has only scored 13 points all season. Just the 1 touchdown. Jarman looking to throw this side, and it looked like that was bounced in to Brown. That one's incomplete. Rodney Coleman Jr. over there on the coverage. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Another good crowd on hand here for this SIAC opener for both teams. Jordan rejoins Jarman in the backfield on this 3rd and 3. And we've got whistles, and let's find out what's going on here. Well, the play clock is the issue. I've been able to hear the referee so far. And it's an issue with the clock. It was down to 8:33. Now I think they're trying to set it at 8:53 because right now they've got 85.3 on the clock. So I'm just trying to. Now we've got 53 minutes left in the first half. Now we've got 85 minutes left in the first half. We'll get this corrected at some point here this year. While they get that situated. Handoff goes to Smothers. Smothers breaks it to the left side. There's a flag on the play. Smothers gets inside the 5, dives for the pylon. Did he make it? He did not, but it might not matter. It might come back anyway. It's like an area where there's a illegal block. Would have been out short of the goal line. Let's see the flag. Fort Valley State, just the 1 touchdown and 2 field goals this season. That has been it. So a great opportunity for the Wildcats to get on the board. You look at the replay, looked like he did hit the pylon. Well, depending on what this flag is, it might come back anyway. Long conversation. So Clark is the guilty party. So I'll knock him back 15 yards. So this will be, it'll be 3rd down. Let's see where they spot this ball. Looks like it's going to be marked at the 23-yard line, so they'll have to go. The 24-yard line, sorry about that. So they'll have to go 13 yards for a first down. So Smothers might have had a touchdown, but Now it's 3rd and long again for Fort Valley State. Clark still in the backfield. Drummond back to pass. Throws this side, pass incomplete for Shipman, and then he gets rocked by Walker, and he's going to get flagged. I think he's going to get flagged for targeting. It's either going to be targeting or personal foul. Walker, Shipman had dropped the pass just inside the 2-yard line. And Walker just laid into him. Sometimes you can't stop your momentum, but with all the player safety rules in effect, those type of hits, they're going to flag those most of the time. So this should give Fort Valley State an automatic 1st down. They just had the wrong number there. It looked like called it on number 2, Kendrell Walker, sophomore from Tuscaloosa. So it'll be half the distance. It will be 1st down at the 12, so Fort Valley State can get another 1st down without scoring. With 8:32 to play here in the 2nd quarter. Clark in the backfield, 4 receivers for Fort Valley State. Wildcats looking to tie the ball game, 7-0 to score with Miles. And we've got a whistle, and let's find out. Line just going to come over. Then I have the chain set for the play. Jarman takes the snap. Right side, Shipman again. Tries to make a move. Helmet gets taken off. Shipman is tackled down towards the 8-yard line. And helmet came off. The host of Bears made the stop. It'll be 2nd down and 6. From the 8-yard line, Fort Valley State back up to the line. Shipman with his 3rd catch of the drive. Clock moves towards 8 minutes left here in the 2nd quarter. Brandon Smothers at the top. Shipman then goes to the top in motion. Jarman looking that way. Pass is caught by Clark along the sideline. Did he get in? He did. Touchdown, Fort Valley State. 8-yard pass. Clark tight ropes the sideline. And for the 2nd time this season, Slade Jarman has thrown a touchdown pass. Clark with his 1st touchdown reception of the season. Came in with 7 receptions on the season. So Fort Valley State able to tie the score. Well, 1 point away from tying the score as Gutierrez will come in, try the extra point. Of course, he needs a holder to do that. And Smothers, actually Fort Valley State had 9 guys on the field. Guess I could have snapped it to Gutierrez. He could have put it down himself and kicked it, but probably wouldn't have had enough time. This extra point is good. So with 7:56 to play here in the 2nd quarter, Fort Valley State and Miles are tied at 7. You're watching SIAC Football on Flow Sports.
Long throw over, and he got it.
Robinson fields the kick. He's across the 20. High steps a man and now finally gets tackled at the 29-yard line. Other SIAC scores. Looks like Morehouse is going to go to 3-0. Right now, he's got a 24-7 lead on Central State with 7:55 to play in the third quarter. Morehouse off to a terrific start. Got the win against Arkansas Pine Bluff out of the SWAC. Follows that up with the a win over Lane last week. So Morehouse, very strong contender, looks like, in the East. First down from the 29. Here's Smith. The throw's complete. That's Robinson, and Robinson will get first down yardage as he still tries to fight for yards. Gets out across the 40 to the 42-yard line. That'll be good for 13 yards, so first down for Miles.
Pass complete to number 11, Anthony Robinson. Play is good enough for a Golden Bears. First down.
Robinson, the sophomore from Greensboro, Alabama. So first down for Miles at the 42, 13 yards on that last play. Smith hands it off to Marshall, and Marshall is quickly hit in the backfield. That'll be a loss of 3 on the play. It'll be second down and 13. Again, Antonio Golden was the first man there. Smith back to pass, going deep. Looking for Tyree, and again, Wiggum. Second time he's had a pick go through his hands. Nico Wiggum, transfer from UCF. Second team All-SIAC last season. Second time he has dropped an interception. It'll be second down. We've got a flag down as well. Got 2 flags on the play. Stacy Ivey Jr., the freshman from Macon, the guilty party on that one. And 4:38 to play here in the second quarter. And the game tied at 7. Miles has a first down at the Fort Valley 46. As the purple marching machine gets going here on the Miles side. There's Smith down the field, and the pass is intercepted. What a play by Zach Anderson. Antonio Lee was the intended receiver. He didn't see the ball. And Anderson with his first interception this season. And so Fort Valley State gets one. The East team now with the turnover. So some more momentum for the Wildcats. And Anderson and Fort Valley State defense will celebrate that. Now Fort Valley State's offense trying to take the lead, start this drive from the 21-yard line. Jordan in the backfield again. Jaden Loader tied in the backfield along with Jarman. And everybody moved except part of the offensive line. Gonna knock them back 5 yards to the 16-yard line, so it'll be first and 15. So you get the interception, get a little momentum, and then the first play out of the gate, you get a 5-yard penalty for a false start. Jarman hands off to Clark. I'm sorry, that's Jordan. He tests the middle again and gets knocked down by Floyd. So he gets back across the original line of scrimmage, gets out to the 22-yard line, 6 yards to gain for Jordan. So Fort Valley State, they found some room in this running game that has struggled in the 2 games to start the season. It's Jordan again. There's 47 on the tackle again, along with Brad Horn. As Jordan takes it down to the 26-yard line. 3rd and 5 for Fort Valley State. Shipman comes in and comes to the near side. 4 wide receivers for the Wildcats. Clock moves under 3.5 minutes to play here in the first half. High snap, flag down. Jarman gets it out to Jordan. Jordan along the sideline, and Stevens runs interference. And we do have a flag. Let's find out what it's all about. It was thrown by the head linesman on the near side. Let's check the flag.
Your attention.
Well, Shelton's had a pretty good first half. Makes a mistake right there. 3rd and 1 is the down the distance now after the 5-yard penalty.
We need you to come down to the field at this time. We need you to come to the field at this time. Thank you.
Right at the stick. That's close. That's really close. They can measure that for a first down. Looks like may have gotten it, and it is enough for a first down. As the bands are about ready to enter the field. Jordan again stops after a loss on the play. Stevens and Thomas, along with Shelton, on that side of that defense, causing havoc for Fort Valley State. Under 3 to go. Game tied at 7. Fort Valley State trying to end the half on a high note. Wildcats will get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. Trying to book in scores around halftime. Jarman fakes it to Jordan, throws over the middle, and the pass is caught. That's complete to Jeffrey Mack, his first catch of the game. The sophomore from Athens brings it across the 40 to the 43-yard line. Tackle made by Coleman. But it will be good enough for a first down. 13 yards on the reception. Clock moves towards 2 minutes to play here, 2nd quarter. Fakes the handoff, now Smothers out in the open field. Good block by Brown. And Smothers gets out of bounds. They'll mark it at the 47-yard line. So 4 more for the Buena Vista, Georgia native. Smothers said the thing he's worked on the most is getting in shape, knowing that he's going to get a lot more touches this season than he did last year, though he did lead the team with 428 receiving yards last year. McCants now in the backfield. First time we've seen him in the backfield. And he'll get the carry. Comes to the right side and bowling his way out across midfield. He's still going. And they finally mark him at the 47-yard line of Miles. That's not before he picks up 6 and gets a first down. Jeremy McCants. That's his 5th carry of the season. Sophomore from Anniston, Alabama. But he makes the most of his opportunity. And now Fort Valley State is on the plus side of the 50. 125 remains here in the first half. Fort Valley State has 1 timeout remaining. Shipman in motion. Jarman to throw. Comes this side to Shipman. Stevens is there and knocks him out of bounds along with Wells. That's about a 2-yard gain. It does get out of bounds to stop the clock at 1:10 remaining here in the first half. So the last 2 drives, Fort Valley State knocking Miles back on his heels right now. There's a little confidence in this offensive line, doing a good job of protection. Jarman again as the pocket holds. Pass is dropped. That one incomplete. Tried to hit Adrian Adams, but Adams could not come up with the play. As a sophomore from St. Petersburg, Florida. So bring up 3rd down and 8 from the 45. Clock stops at 1:06 left here in the second quarter. Clark in the backfield. Jarman to throw. Going deep. Far side. It's intercepted. Picked off by Walker. And Walker atones for his earlier penalty down in the red zone. That's the second turnover for Fort Valley State. And it gives Miles a chance here with 58 seconds left in the first half. First interception of the season for Walker, as he returns it to the 32-yard line. So Miles now back on the offensive attack. Empty backfield for Smith on 1st down. Smith, left side, complete. That's Tyree. Tyree breaks a tackle and finally gets dragged down as he crosses the 40 to the 44-yard line. David Brown was over there on the stop. Also Wiggum. 12-yard gain on that one. Here's Smith again. Breaking contain, under pressure, and they'll just scoot out of bounds. Floyd and Bryant were given chase. And we've got an injured Wildcat on the sideline. Like that is... It was Floyd who just was chasing Smith on that last play. Loss of 4, 2nd and 14. 41 seconds left in the first half. Smith goes straight up the middle, runs into the umpire, and he is tackled at midfield. The umpire gets run over. That one good for 8 yards. Timeout called by Miles with 30.3 seconds left here in the second quarter. Sometimes the umpire gets in the way himself. Sometimes the umpire ends up making a tackle. Smith said, "You're not going to tackle me on this play." Try to get some first half numbers for you, if possible, during the halftime break. We should also have both bands on the field during halftime. And we'll get the second half underway after that. Right now, Miles trying to take the lead for the second time today. Game tied at 7. 30 seconds left to play. Miles now down to its last timeout at midfield. Empty backfield again. This has been a successful formation for Miles last couple of weeks. There's Smith over to Tyree, and he gets hit immediately by Wiggum. That's going to be short of the first down at the 47. It will bring up 4th down and a yard. It'll be interesting to see what they do here. They try to just have one more play, or they're going to take this in for halftime. And looks like they are going to take this into halftime. So at halftime, Miles College and Fort Valley State tied at 7. Fort Valley State scoring on an 8-yard reception by Jamari Clark. Miles scored the first 7 points of the game with the 5-yard fumble return touchdown by Austin Stevens. So an even game as we head to halftime. Trying to give you some first half numbers as well. And also, both bands will be performing during halftime. You're watching SIAC Football on Flow Sports. Well, back here to Fairfield. It's halftime festivities going on. It's Prince Hall Americanism Football Classic. And right now you're seeing a check being presented by the Prince Hall Masons to Miles College for $10,000. So that is a nice donation for this outstanding institution, founded in 1898. They started playing football here at Miles in 1910. We'll have both bands on the field here in a minute. So, great first half. Both teams having opportunities to score. Miles scoring its points first with the 5-yard fumble return touchdown by Austin Stevens. And then Fort Valley State coming back in the second quarter with a 8-yard reception by Jamari Clark. Right now, onto the field, we're going to have Fort Valley State's band, followed by Miles, that purple marching machine. So sit back, relax, enjoy this halftime presentation here on Flow Sports.
Want me to stay wide?
Miles College now hitting the field after Fort Valley State did its performance. Enjoy Miles' band, the Purple Marching Machine, and we'll get ready for the second half. That was the Purple Marching Machine, Miles Golden of the Miles Golden Bears, here at Miles College, Albert J. Sloan Alumni Stadium. We'll take a break and come right back, get you ready for the second half. Again, the score is tied at 7-7 between Fort Valley State and Miles. They're watching SIAC Football on Flow Sports.
Championship game.
Welcome back to Fairfield, Alabama, Albert J. Sloan Alumni Stadium. We're right now at halftime of the Prince Hall Americanism Football Classic. Fort Valley State and Miles are tied at 7. I'm Kamari Darrington here up top, the press box here at the stadium. As we take a look at the first half stats, it was a very even game, although Fort Valley State has the edge in total offense, 122-69. Fort Valley State with 10 first downs, Miles College with just 5. Each team has some turnovers. Of course, Fort Valley State with 2 turnovers. Miles College just the 1 turnover. Right now, Slade Jarman, 9 of 14, 75 yards and a touchdown. Does have an interception. Jamar Clark leading the way in the ground game, 6 carries for 28 yards. Brian Anderson's 23 yards on the 1 reception. A.J. Shippen has 3 receptions for 8 yards. For the Fort Valley State defense, Forrest Bryant leading the way with 5 tackles and a sack, also 2 tackles for loss. Nico Wiggum had a chance for a couple interceptions, but he has 2 tackles as well for Fort Valley State. Meanwhile, for Miles College individually, Daniel Smith, 5 of 9 for 47 yards and an interception. He's been sacked 3 times. Daniel Smith also has 21 yards on 7 carries. Santee Marshall with just 1 net yard on his 3 carries. In the receiving battle, Anthony Robinson and Leonard Tyree each had 2 receptions in the first half. Robinson leading the way with 22 receiving yards. On the defensive side, Austin Stevens, as he's done the first 2 games, he has really been a tackling machine. 8 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Gregory Matthews also had a pretty good first half. He has 4 tackles for the Miles College defense. Scoring summary, of course, Austin Stevens with a 5-yard fumble recovery touchdown off the fumble from Jarman, one of the 2 turnovers for Valley State. Jarman came down midway through the second quarter with an 8-yard touchdown pass to Jamari Clark. That's where we stand right now, tied at 7. Time of possession went Fort Valley State's way, 20 minutes and 19 seconds to 9 minutes and 41 seconds. Coming up, we've got a short break, and when we come back, we will have the second half. Fort Valley State and Miles from Fairfield. You're watching SIAC Football on Flow Sports.
And he got it.
As we get set for the second half, it'll be Fort Valley State receiving after Miles got the ball to start the game. So the winner of this game gets a leg up in their division race. Tuskegee beating Albany State last week. So this is a big game for Miles as they run towards that showdown with Tuskegee last weekend of the season. And for Fort Valley State, with Morehouse playing so well, and speaking of Morehouse, it is up 41-14 on Central State in the fourth quarter. About 6 minutes left in that game. Michael Sims is off to a terrific start as quarterback. He's got 227 more yards today. So the kick, Smothers looking to field it. He does at the 20 with a running start, directing traffic, and gets across the 30 to the 33-yard line, and that is where Fort Valley State will start its first possession of the second half. So Jarman back out on the field. Going 9 for 14 in that first half. Fort Valley State really in that second quarter found some cracks in the defense for Miles. Miles got a terrific start with that 3 and out, and then the next possession they did get the fumble. Jarman asking for a reset of the play clock, and he gets it. 3 receivers set to start things off here. Jordan in the backfield, Clark in the backfield for Fort Valley State. Brown at the bottom. Mack and Smothers at the top. First play of the second half. It's a handoff to Smothers. Smothers with a lot of room to run. Gets around the edge and gets all the way out to midfield. Finally tackled by Floyd, but not before Smothers picks up 17 yards and the first down. So Fort Valley State off to a terrific start. Again, Clark in the backfield. So Smothers getting another touch and making things happen. Smothers again in motion. This time they'll go to the option, and Jarman has room to run again. He slides down to the 40-yard line. So Jarman, back-to-back running plays, produced about 30 yards as he gets out to the 41-yard line. That's 9 on that play. So again, Fort Valley State moving the ball into Miles territory. As he looks over to the sideline. Clark now will come to Jarman's left. 3 on the play clock. 2nd and a yard, and here's Smothers. He'll get the first down. Tries to get all the way to the outside. He's finally tackled as he gets to the 35-yard line. So that's 6 more yards for Smothers. And another first down. At the Miles 35-yard line. Shipman is in now at the receiver. Clark in the backfield as again they work from the pistol. So Fort Valley State first drive of the second half looking to take its first lead of the game. Its first lead of the season. Jarman on the option. He'll keep it again. This time he'll be stopped. McClellan was over there. Does pick up a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Again, the receivers shifting. Now Shipman comes to the bottom. Amari Brown up to the top. Fort Valley State's running game has really taken off since the start of the second quarter. And the flip to Shipman, and Shipman has room to run. Breaks to the hole, gets inside the 25, still driving. He's hard to bring down. Look at Shipman move the pile all the way inside the 20. There's a flag as bodies pile up, all 22 right in the middle of the screen right there as Shipman fighting for extra yards. He gets all the way to the 20, but we'll see what the flag is all about. What a play by A.J. Shipman, who has been really a spark. So no flag on the play. And Shipman gets it down to the 20-yard line. So, again, Fort Valley State in the red zone. And we got an injured player. There's Jalen Thomas. Thomas had a pretty good first half also. So, a left defensive end. So while they work on him, we'll take a short break and come right back to Fairfield. You're watching SIAC Football on Flo Sports.
There is a shot towards deep short. Kraft's got it. Long throw over, and he got it.
Back here to Fairfield, Jalen Thomas, the injured Bear, able to get up now and look like he's going to jog off. Junior from Sylacauga, Alabama. So it's like, once again, I'll change up the Miles defensive lineup. Fort Valley State starting this play at the 19-yard line. Shipman with a 14-yard run. Smothers now in motion. Handoff goes to Clark, and Clark is bottled up early. Stevens first man there, also Shelton. Shelton has been all over the field also. Didn't get much. He got a yard and bring up second down from the 18. 6 plays on 7th play of the drive. All 6 have been runs. 4 minutes gone by here in the third quarter. Now flip to Smothers, and a flag is down as Smothers is tackled by Walker. And looks like we will have perhaps a hold or an illegal block. So that's the tight end, Jalen Loader, sophomore from Kathleen, Georgia. Brings it all the way back to the 27-yard line, so it'll be second down and 18. So that's a huge penalty. So 10 yards from that spot of the foul. Jarman looking for Smothers. That's high, incomplete. Intended for Smothers. It'll be second and 20. Well, Fort Valley State seems like every time they get close to the end zone, except for the one possession, they've done something to knock it back. And now it's facing a third and 18. Tries to get down to the 9-yard line for a first down. As the sun continues its descent here in Fairfield. 2 players going to motion. That should be a flag. They had the shift going, and that's what is the call. Well, actually, that isn't the call. So knocks it back to the 32-yard line. So Fort Valley State going the wrong way. I thought they were going to call illegal motion because Smothers and Shipman were both going at the same time, but the officials deemed that was a shift. So now third down and very long. 4 wide receivers with Clark in the backfield. Jarman looks to throw, under pressure, goes over the middle, and that pass incomplete for Brown. Brown could not handle it. And it'll be fourth down. They're at the 32 right now. Would be about a 50-yard field goal, so doesn't look like they're going to try that. Looks like they're going to try and go for this. Perhaps you can get some yards to push this thing down further for Miles to start its possession inside the 20. Or perhaps you feel you can get someone going deep. We've seen that a couple of times today. Receivers haven't gotten open. Jarman looks to throw. Steps up. Running out of time. Now he's going to run for it. He's not going to get it. He'll be dragged down from behind by Shelton. So 7 yards on the play for Jarman, but it will be a turnover on downs. And Miles will take over first down at its own 20-yard line. So a good defensive stand from Miles. And he gets the ball with 10:08 to play here in the third quarter. Daniel Smith coming back out with his offense after a 5-for-9 start in the first half. Miles got to the midfield but decided to just run the clock out at the end of the first half. So just like in the first half, the Miles defense comes up with a 3-and-out. Well, with a defensive stop. So here comes Miles. Marshall gets to the hole. It's out to about the 29-yard line. Tackle was made by Robinson. Second down and 6 from the 29-yard line. Marshall again in the backfield with Smith. And Smith pitches it to Marshall, and he is rocked. Aaron Dorr came up and closed the door on Santee Marshall before he could even get started. Marshall will lose yardage back to the 19-yard line. So that is a loss of 5. And it'll be 3rd down and 11. Got to get to the 30 for a first down. Smith looking to throw, going deep, trying to hit Lee, and that pass incomplete. Good coverage by Quintarius Prather. He has done a good job on that far side. So the incomplete pass, and it looks like it's going to be a 3 and out for Miles. So just 3 plays on the drive. We actually had a flag on the play for offside. So that goes against Fort Valley State. So now it'll be 3rd down and 6. So that's a huge penalty. Gives Miles another chance. 9 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. And the Bears take advantage. Smith again looking for, this time he hits Lee. And we'll be short of the first down. That was a good tackle that time by Prather. It'll be 4th down. He gets to the 27-yard line. Lee with the reception. It'll be 4th and about 3. So the punt comes in. Here's Lorenzo Smothers back deep to receive the kick.
Back deep for the Wildcats is Lorenzo Smothers. Punting for the Golden Bears, Jake Anderson.
Last play was good for 3 yards. There's a snap, and again a bad punt by Anderson. There's a flag down as we've got extra stuff going on. That punt goes out of bounds at the Miles 32-yard line. That was only a 5-yard punt. Where are they? Oh, sorry, they marked it up at the 30. I believe the 39-yard line. Whoa, what a huge penalty. Personal foul for leaping the shield in front of the Miles punter. And so that'll be another first down for Miles. So they had the stop, they had the punt, and now Fort Valley State is back out on the offense. Sorry, Miles is back out on offense. The ball goes all the way out to the 42-yard line. That was a big play on first down, on the 4th down from the 32-yard line. Three receivers. Handoff goes to Christian Mays, and Mays is out of bounds at the 49. Prather with the tackle. So Mays with his first carry of the game. Good for about 8 yards. Mark it at
Pushed out of bounds at the 50-yard line, the 49-yard line of the Golden Bears.
49-yard line. 7 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 3. Again, Mays in the backfield with Smith. Smith changed the play. 7:30 left here in the 3rd quarter. Mays, junior from Prattville. Smith looking to throw and going deep. Has a man open. It's Tyree. He's got it inside the 20, and he will go into the end zone for the Miles touchdown. 51 yards. Leonard Tyree gets deep, and Miles regains the lead. Six more points for the Bears. It takes the second lead of the game at 13-7, 7:15 to play. So Tyree got behind the defense. And Brady Hamill will try the extra point. Third touchdown pass of the season for Smith. And the extra point is up, and it is no good. So Hamill misses an extra point for the first time this season, and it's still 13-7 Miles on top of Fort Valley State. That drive went 7 plays. Ended up going 80 yards before the 51-yard touchdown reception by Leonard Tyree. His third touchdown catch of the season. Came in third in the SIAC with 133 receiving yards. He had added 51 on that pass play. But Miles having issues with the extra point that time. The first time that Hamill has missed this season, the junior from Navarre, Florida. So that point might come to haunt Miles College here late in the game. But right now, Miles leading by 6. So Miles will kick off. Fort Valley State going back to receive the kick. Cant's back there along with Smothers. Great crowd on hand here in Fairfield. The Prince Hall Americanism Football Classic during halftime. The Prince Hall Masons here in Fairfield presented a $10,000 check to Miles College. Here's the kick. End over end, and it comes down inside the 20. McCants will take it from the 19. Tries to get to the outside. Gets a block. And he's all the way across the 40 to the 43-yard line, but a flag comes in late. And this might be coming back. It's going to be about a 24, 25-yard return, but instead might be a block against Fort Valley State. Albany State right now with a 14-10 lead on West Georgia. So another SIAC versus Gulf South Conference matchup. Right now the SIAC getting the better of it at this point, and has struggled against the Gulf South Conference so far this year. So we'll mark this one all the way back to the 22-yard line. So it'll be first down for Fort Valley State with 7:04 to play here in the third quarter. So Fort Valley State again with a penalty. And Morehouse still up 41-14 on Central State. That is in the fourth quarter. Wildcats were first and 10 at the 22. Clark in the backfield. 4 receivers set. Smothers in motion. Handoff goes. There's a fake and a throw over the middle, and the pass is incomplete. And Rodney Coleman almost had an interception. And Smothers is down. There's a flag on the play. Looked like Smothers was hit. Took a hard shot as he came over the middle. That's actually Jeffrey Mack, who was the intended target. And it's going to be a late hit against Miles. And that might be a targeting foul. It's going to be a first down for Fort Valley State. Fans aren't happy about it, but that's definitely a late hit. So Mack will come to the sideline. Well, Mack might not play the rest of the game. He might have to go through that concussion protocol after that last hit by Miles. So it comes up to the 37-yard line. So a 15-yard penalty. This is Jordan. And he'll be wrapped up after about a 2-yard gain to the 39-yard line. So Jordan and Clark in the backfield trying to move this rushing offense along in the right direction. Doing so far today. As evening turns to night here in Fairfield. 2nd and 8, 6:25 to play here in the third quarter. 6-point lead for Miles. Jarman fakes the handoff and then throws this side complete to Smothers. And Smothers has it down to 27-yard, down to the 42-yard line. Tackle made by Wells. Good for 3 yards for Smothers. It will bring up third down and about 5. And it looks like we got an injured player once again. This time it's Miles again as Kendrell Walker quickly comes off the field. So no timeout here. Teams get right back on the field. Coming up next week, there'll be a couple of games on Flow Sports. Actually, 3 games next weekend. Central State will be at Kentucky State at 2 o'clock Central Time, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. They also have coverage of the Chicago Football Classic as this Miles College team goes up to the Windy City to take on what is seem to be the offensive juggernaut at Morehouse. That'll be at 4:30 Eastern Time, 3:30 Central. Then we'll continue the weekend next Sunday with the Palmetto Capital City Classic as Fort Valley State travels to Columbia, South Carolina to take on Benedict. That'll be at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So 3 games being streamed on Flow Sports next weekend as our season-long coverage of the SIAC continues. Over the middle after the play fake, and some others slipped. That pass incomplete. It was intended for Smothers on 3rd down and 5, so the punting unit will come out for Fort Valley State. Mashburn back, his 2nd punt tonight. And back deep is Tyree, who just had the touchdown reception. Mashburn, one of the better punts we've seen by either team tonight. This one bounces inside the 25, and it'll be touched down out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. So that is where Miles will start its next possession following the 51-yard reception by Tyree to give Miles a 6-point lead. 5:28 to play here in the third quarter. Great to have you with us. The first of our season-long broadcast of these SIAC football games all the way to the week before the SIAC championship. The West Division champion will get to host it, as the East champion got to host it last year. That East champion was Fort Valley State. Right now, both teams 0-2, looking for a win. Smith, as Campbell goes in motion, and he gets the handoff to Marshall, but then Marshall is quickly wrapped up. That was number 53 for Fort Valley State. Jasari Patterson, a sophomore from Cairo, Georgia, with that play. Loss of 3 yards on the play, be 2nd down and 13. Mays in the backfield. Smith off the play fake. Going deep downfield, looking for Tyree again. He's got it. 40, 30, and he's finally dragged down at the 20-yard line. They will mark it at the 19-yard line. That one good for 46 yards to Tyree. 97 yards on 2 receptions here in the second half. Smith going deep, and Tyree and Smith hook up for the 2nd time for a big play. So from the 19-yard line. And off to Mays. Mays tries the right side and quickly gets tripped up as he gets down to the 18-yard line. So a 1-yard pickup for Mays. Andrew Robinson was in on the tackle. So Miles looking to extend its lead. We're down to 3:45 to play in the third quarter. Another 3 receivers set for Miles. Valley State having issues getting set right here. Miles changes the play. 2nd and 9 from 17. Off play action, Smith rolls to his left, has a man open and could not hang on. Could Cohen Hudson, a junior from Charlotte, North Carolina. And, of course, he's got to be thinking about his hometown with the Hurricane, Florence, barreling down on North Carolina this weekend. Of course, a couple of games in the SIAC were canceled due to the storm. It's affected a lot of HBCU football games this weekend. The 3rd and 9 is where we're at, 17-yard line. Play clock at 1, and Miles just got the timeout just before the clock expired for the delayed game. So a big 3rd down coming up here as Miles tries to extend a 13-7 lead on Fort Valley State. The 2 games that were canceled this weekend, Livingston at Lane, Livingston out of North Carolina, unable to travel to Tennessee for that game. And then Benedict at Fayetteville State. Of course, Fayetteville State in North Carolina. So those games hopefully to get rescheduled sometime later down the road. Meanwhile, here at Fairfield, Miles facing 3rd and 9 at the 17, 3:16 to play in the third quarter. And has a 13-7 lead on Fort Valley State after a 51-yard touchdown reception by Leonard Tyree on the last possession. So Tyree has all 3 touchdown receptions this year from Smith. Again, this Miles offense, really with the passing game, has really been what has been a problem for Fort Valley State's defense. So 3rd down. And now you're looking at about a 34-yard field goal. Play fake. Going for Tyree again. He has got it. Out of bounds. Tyree made the catch, but could not keep 1 foot in bound. And so we will have the field goal unit come out for Miles. So it'll be a 35-yard attempt from Jackson Spradlin. Here's the kick. And over in, and he did not make it wide to the right. So a missed field goal for Miles. Missing 35 yards out, so the score remains Miles 13, Fort Valley State 7. So Fort Valley State will take over at its own 20 with 3:08 to play here in the third quarter. No time ran off the clock on that field goal. Well, the play started with 3 minutes and 8 seconds left. In any event, Fort Valley State will have the ball. Fort Valley State did outgain Miles in the first half, 122 to 69. It's been a struggle for the most part. 3rd possession of the second half for Fort Valley. Flip to Smothers, gets around Shelton, and cuts it upfield. And Smothers almost broke another tackle. Coleman finally brings him down at the 26-yard line. 6 more yards for Smothers. Bring up 2nd down and 6. 2nd down and 4. Brian Anderson coming into the backfield for the first time. Just trying to get fresh bodies into this game as Time winding down. Play fake to Smothers. Jarman trying to go deep, and he will be sacked inside the 15-yard line. Jalen Thomas and Marquell Shelton again inside on the sack. Thomas with his second sack of the game. Loss of 9 on the play. It'll bring up 3rd down and long. Gotta get to the 34 first down. Jarman again under pressure. Now steps up, throws here to this side, and Brown makes the catch out of bounds at the 35-yard line. That is a reception. Completion is good for 17 yards, so Brown, for the second time, has an acrobatic catch along the sideline. That'll be a first down for Fort Valley State at the 33-yard line. So 16 yards on that last play, so that gives Fort Valley State a chance to get up to the line. Jarman able to step up as the pocket was collapsing around him, stepped into the throwing, and he got that play. Now Jarman will try to run it, and Stevens with another tackle. He's got to be up to double digits now after that one. Pick up a 2 on the play, bring up 2nd down and 8. Jarman, the transfer from Mississippi Valley State, 2017 SIAC Newcomer of the Year. We got a whistle. Final minute of the third quarter. And clock has finally stopped at 40 seconds. They got to reset the clock. And Coach Ruffin is having a discussion with the officials over on the mile sideline. Ruffin's unhappy about something. So a lot said. I did hear that they wanted the clock reset, I believe, to 48 seconds. Figure that out. Figure out why we can't really hear what he said. I did hear they wanted to reset the clock, so it was at 48, so it's running again. 2nd and 8 from the 35. Shipman in motion. Miles rushes 5. Outside, pass is caught. That is Shipman again. And quickly with the tackle is Shelton. Shipman does get a yard. It will bring up 3rd down and 7. Might take this down to the 4th quarter. Final seconds ticking away, and we will head to the 4th quarter. So 15 minutes left to decide a winner here in the SIAC opener at the end of the 3rd quarter. Miles takes a 13-7 lead. Fort Valley State into the money quarter, the 4th quarter. You're watching SIAC football on Flow Sports.
East Georgia advances to the championship game.
SIAC opener for Fort Valley State and Miles. We're at the 4th quarter. Miles with a 13-7 lead on Fort Valley State, joined once again by the enforcer, A.A. Moore.
I don't know what I'm enforcing. The only thing they've been enforcing against me today is penalty yards, apparently. But I'm still here. I still got a job somewhere, so I'm not going to be too mad.
You've been all over the place this afternoon and evening and now night here in Fairfield.
I'm almost sexy enough to fit in my clothing.
Well, let's find out how this drive will end here for Fort Valley State. 36-yard line, 3rd and 7 to start the 4th quarter. Jarman to throw, under pressure. Brings it up, throws, tipped and incomplete. Tried to hit Clark out of the backfield.
And Jarman has done a good job of escaping pressure for the most part here tonight. That time he was able to roll out as Miles brought some interior pressure, and he threw it in a bit into coverage, but he really didn't have much choice. When he's been able to run, Miles hasn't had a spy on him. Right. But they've been using Austin Stevens a bit, been mixing it up a little bit so that Jarman can't take off and just run.
Austin Stevens has been all over the field tonight as he's been the first 2 games of the season. So now Mashburn back to punt again. This one a little short. Try to get away from it here. So it'll bounce inside the 30 and now inside the 25, and it'll be touchdown at around the 23-yard line. So that's where Miles will start his first possession here of the fourth quarter. What have you seen in these first 3 quarters?
Well, I haven't seen a lot of consistent offense from either team, but Miles has shown the explosion, being able to throw the football between Daniel Smith and Leonard Tyree. Last week, 8 catches, 125, and 2 touchdowns. You've seen 2 big long plays. Right now, the deciding touchdown was a 51-yard touchdown pass from Smith to Tyree. He's got over 100 yards in the air receiving. They're going to have to do something with that because everything else for Fort Valley State, they've been able to stuff the run. The short game hasn't really been coming to fruition for Miles. So you got to kind of find a way to keep Leonard Tyree under wraps.
1st and 10 from the 24. I got a feeling that the Smith-Tyree connection will be a frequent connection this season. Here's Marshall. Actually, that's
Malik Stevens on that carry. And Stevens was just added to the roster last week. It actually was right on time because the injury to Justin Hardy made it a little thin in the running back core. He's a small kid, and when you look at the height, 5'9", but he's 200 pounds, strong and fast, just looking for a little more of an opportunity.
Well, certainly looking to get it here is, like I said, Hardy not in the lineup now, at least for the next couple of weeks, as Miles tries to move the ball again. Up by 6, minute gone by in the fourth quarter. 2nd and 10. And Stevens gets another try. And he muscles his way to the 26. You talk about his strength and showed a little bit of it right there.
And he's played little JUCO ball. He was actually on campus at Southern University at one point, but elected to leave from there. He's had some opportunities to play college ball. Miles hopefully will be the final stop for him, and he'll be able to produce.
Right now the Bears facing 3rd and 8 from its own 26. Every 3rd down is going to be big as this fourth quarter comes to the end.
Right, especially with that missed extra point.
Yes.
Now that could be the difference in the ball game. Miles is going to try to move the chains, but Fort Valley certainly wants to get a stop here and get the ball back.
Smith back to throw. Stands in the pressure. Now down the sideline. Tyree again. This time he could not come up with it.
And again, Leonard Tyree got free. He was probably a step away from pulling that one in. Teams are going to probably see this tape, and the first thing they're going to start doing is, hey, let's slide a safety over top because he's beating our guy.
For the 4th or 5th time, I think Tyree has gotten past the secondary.
He had a play last week where he blitzed the secondary of West Alabama. Ball hit him right on the fingertips. Otherwise, it'd have been another long touchdown.
So now the punt from Miles. Jay Fitch with this punt. This one comes up a little short. Gets that nice links golf course roll down to the 32-yard line for Fort Valley State. So that's where the Wildcats will start the drive, looking to possibly tie the game and take the lead with 12:50 to play here in the fourth quarter.
Well, you've seen the Fort Valley offense kind of start and stop. Well, they're going to have to get a nice sustained drive going here, but the issue is that it's not that easy, especially when that front 4 of Miles is getting pressure. They haven't really been blitzing a whole lot. They've been able to use 4 to disrupt what Fort Valley is doing on offense.
One of the keys that Coach Porter told me about this week was last week against Valdosta State, they were able to get sustained drive. They didn't score a lot of points, but they were able to move the ball down the field. So we'll see if they can do that here in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, they've got kicking woes over on that side too, and that I saw a couple of missed field goals on that play.
Jarman goes over the middle, pass almost intercepted. Ruben Sardin almost had another pick. We've seen about 3 or 4 opportunities for DBs to come up with interceptions.
I've got to imagine that during practice this week for the Golden Bears, it's going to be a lot of tip drills and things of that nature. They have dropped several passes that should have been sure interceptions. Slade Jarman has been a little loose with the football, and that's not like him.
Second down and 10 from the 32. I'll look over to the sideline.
Maybe it's the new uniforms. Those
right.
The numbers are real big that
Yes.
they have on there, real easy to see even from far away.
Yes,
And maybe Jarman is getting a little excited when he sees the numbers.
Wide open. We got a timeout by Fort Valley State. Like I said, the kicking woes for both sides, that's really going to be a key here in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, when you lose all conference kickers, as both of these teams have, and you're running freshmen out, Miles at this point has run every kicker on their roster. They have 4 kickers.
Yeah.
At a lot of HBCUs, you have one kicker.
One, yes.
Who does the kicking, the punting, he does the onside kicks, he goes and gets the water when he's not practicing.
Exactly.
He does everything. Miles is actually rostering 4 kickers. One of them is a transfer. That was Brady Hamill.
Right.
But he's had his struggles to where he's been replaced by a freshman who still hasn't made one yet either. On the other side, you got Adebise. He has not been able to get any through the uprights, not with the regularity as you talked about last week against Valdosta State. They were getting drives, and on those drives, field goal attempts, they were missing them. Some of them blocked. Just, I know it's got to hurt a lot of feelings because mostly it's been automatic the last couple of years.
So it'll be interesting to see, especially as the season goes along, if those kicking woes will continue. Meanwhile, for Fort Valley State, offense trying to make something happen. Smothers in motion on the second down. The handoff up the middle. That one is to Jordan, and Jordan is trying to push forward for about 3 yards to the 35-yard line.
Last season, Miles was near the bottom, middle to the bottom of the pack in rushing yards allowed. A lot of that came early in the season when Alcorn State and West Georgia gouged them on the ground. Tuskegee did so at the end of the season as well, but this rush defense has certainly tightened up here in the early goings of 2018.
Both teams started with Division I schools and then the Gulf South Conference. That is a tough opening stretch, so you can understand both teams being 0-2 coming into this game. Very important play here, 3rd and 7 from the 34. Jarman straight back, looking deep, has a man open, and did it hit the ground? If it didn't, that is a catch. That is complete to Brandon Davis, his first catch of the game. And he gets the ball inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. That's a 26-yard reception for Davis.
Well, Miles has been terrible on 3rd downs today, and that was a big pickup. Wide open receiver Davis, and Jarman found him in stride for the big catch.
So now, Fort Valley State on the plus side of the 50 after the 26-yard reception. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 37. Looks like that is Jordan again in the backfield. Jarman again looking this side. That's complete to Smothers. Smothers gave up some ground. And it's tackled. There's Stevens again along with Wells on that. So that's Coleman on the near side.
And Miles has done a good job keeping Smothers from breaking free. He has that kind of speed, and I'm sure in the game plan for Fort Valley State, it's let's find a way to get Smothers in space. But even when they found him open, Miles has been very quick to converge on him.
It's always good when you're the guy they're keying in on, but it also leaves you open for limited opportunities to make something happen. There's Shipman on the far side.
Those plays haven't been the problem for the Golden Bears. We were just talking about a little earlier where there was a play Fort Valley ran on its last series where everything happened right.
Exactly.
Pressure came on the blitz from Miles. Jarman gets it out to an open receiver in the flat. Miles makes the tackle right on the spot. Everything happened except for Fort Valley. They didn't get many yards out of it.
Got about a yard, if that. It'll be 3rd down and 6. As we come up on 10 minutes to play here, 4th quarter. Got a feeling the winner of this game is really going to get some momentum going into next week. Fort Valley State throw from Jarman is caught by Davis, his second catch on the drive. Walker pushes him out, but he's got 13 more, and that's another 1st down as Fort Valley State gets to the red zone.
Looked about like the same play as it was on the last 3rd down, where Davis just gets free over off in the intermediate part of that zone, and he picks up the 1st.
Fort Valley State at the red zone now at the 20-yard line, looking to perhaps take the lead. Jarman, a little roll out to his left, stops, steps up, try to throw it deep. Now he'll have to run it, and he will be stopped. Shelton was there. He also had Mitchell Smiley, one of the first men to hit Jarman. He gets down to about the 17.
Jarman showed a little escapability there. You know, he looked like he would have been dropped for a loss. He shook one guy, and he's not a small guy at all, so he took the punishment, tried to push forward, but a couple of Miles defenders there to make the stop.
It'll help his rushing total for the season. He was one of the players with negative yards coming into the game. Fort Valley State averaging negative 8.5 yards a game on the ground coming into this game. That average certainly helped today.
He got sacked 5 times last week. That doesn't help the number at all.
Jarman tried to throw over the middle. Now he'll run for it. He gets down to the 11, so he'll be about a yard short of the first down. As Jarman again has to scramble under pressure.
And because Jarman has been able to connect on some of those passes, they haven't been keeping that guy in there to kind of spy on him. Mm-hmm. So now the middle is opening up for him to take off when the pressure is not able to bring him down in the backfield.
3rd and 1. A lot of options here offensively for Fort Valley State.
Still understand these teams cannot run power I ball anymore.
That is
they
over.
Need a yard, and then they line up 6 yards away.
I don't understand it myself. 8:25 to play here in the 4th quarter. Fort Valley State looking to take the lead. 13-7 is the score. You're watching SIAC Football on Flow Sports.
Field by Ben Aklinski. There is a shot towards deep short. Crafts got it. Long throw over, and he got it.
3rd and 1 coming up for Fort Valley State. This is 13-7 lead for Miles. And a good drive that started all the way back on Fort Valley's own 32.
You wonder if Fort Valley doesn't make it here, is this 2-down territory where they're going to try to pick up another first, or will they try to take the 3 points and then look for another stop?
Got one blocked earlier in the game. 3rd down in the yard. It's Jordan in the backfield with Jarman. He gets the handoff, and he is wrapped up. It just was not able to get to the first down marker. He almost had it.
That doesn't happen if you're lined up under center. I know I'm an older guy. I grew up watching Walter Payton, and a lot of the big running backs run out of that power set. And, of course, it's starting to rain. But here we go. It looks like they are going to try to kick this ball and take the 3 points.
Gutierrez. And the 28. A 28-yard field goal, try to cut the lead in half. Smothers the holder, the snap, the kick, and it is good.
So there's a penalty flag, though. I think it might have been offsides against Miles, which would give them Fort Valley a first down.
Oh, boy, that is a big penalty.
Whoever was lined up on the end, it looked like, because one of the players all the way on the other side was trying to tell him to back up.
Wow. That is a huge penalty if that is the case. And it is offside.
They're going to take the points off the board.
Wow.
But that is a critical penalty for the Golden Bears.
It's going to take it all the way down, I believe, to the 6-yard line. So 1st and goal from the 6 after the offside penalty. So perhaps you take a 3-point lead with about 7.5 minutes left. Instead, you give Fort Valley State 4 more downs to score.
Well, if you're Fort Valley, the one thing you don't want to do is turn this ball over.
Right. 2 turnovers for Fort Valley State. Miles with a turnover in its own right. But right now, Fort Valley State is thinking about 7 points to take the lead. First got to get in the end zone. 3 wide receivers, 1st and goal.
Watch Smothers in the slot.
And they flip it back to him. He's got room to run. Smothers inside the block. Touchdown, Fort Valley State. The game is tied. You called it. You said, watch Smothers in the slot. They get it on the reverse.
And that's exactly the kind of play they try to run with him. He got open in space, and the numbers on the other side were unbalanced. And Slade Jarman came in and threw the block that sprung him for the 6 points.
The game is tied. Now, Gutierrez, he just made the the field goal. So maybe that gives them some confidence here. His first field goal attempt was blocked. This one to give Fort Valley State a lead. Here's the snap. The kick is up, and it is good. So Fort Valley State comes back to take a 14-13 lead on Miles. And like you said, the kicking woes now come back to haunt you because now you're down a point instead of being tied.
And then you also worry about whether a field goal can do it for you. It's going to be a tough decision for Miles coming down the stretch here when you only need 3. And thus far, Miles has not made any field goals this season.
So we started the party with a 5-yard fumble return touchdown by Austin Stevens. Then it was Jamari Clark with an 8-yard touchdown reception from Jarman in the first half. Miles took the lead on a 51-yard touchdown reception by Leonard Tyree as the Smith to Tyree connection hooked up again. And just a few moments ago, Lorenzo Smothers on the reverse with a 6-yard run. And Fort Valley State with its first lead of the season at 14-13. They've been playing from behind all year, but finally come here to Miles and 7:25 away from coming up with a victory. So it'll be Gutierrez to kick. Back deep is Tyree. Also Santee Marshall's back as the raindrops start to fall here in Fairfield. Here's the kick. Is that rain an omen? Here comes Tyree from just inside the 10. Comes to the near side, and he is cut down at the 20-yard line. And that is where that's where Miles will start this possession. That tackle made by Javius Terry, the transfer from Troy. So at the 20-yard line, 7:18 to play here in the fourth quarter. Once again, the rain starts to pelt down here in Fairfield, and some of the fans are headed for shade. I don't have that ability up here. I gotta weather through it. Smith with 3 wide receivers on first down from the 20. Off the play fake, throws this far side complete. That'll be a short gain. That's Kelvin Burridge, the junior college transfer from Kemper County, Mississippi. And that'll be a pickup of about 4 yards, bring up second down and 6. So Miles with struggles offensively in the second half. They did get the long touchdown by Tyree, but other than that, Fort Valley State has done a pretty good job with everything else Miles has tried to do. 6:41 left, 2nd and 6. Smith back to throw, under pressure, escapes. Now steps up and throws, and Burridge can't make the catch. Would have had the first down around the 41-yard line, but Burridge, that would have been a tough catch for Kelvin. 6:30 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Again, the fans trying to find some shelter from the rain here in Fairfield. Third and 6 from the 24. And every third down so critical as we come down the stretch. 1-point game. That missed extra point from Miles earlier, now looming large. Smith comes to the near side, now stops and throws, and the pass is caught. That was Malik Campbell at the 40-yard line. That's where they'll mark it, and it'll be first down, a 16-yard reception. So Smith extending the play, and he found Campbell for the first down. First reception of the game for Campbell. Redshirt senior from Mobile. So makes a big play, and then now it's first down at the 40. As the clock moves at under 6 minutes. 1-point lead for Fort Valley. Stevens in the backfield. Fake the handoff over the middle, pass caught by Burge. Burge across the 50, and he'll be taken down at the 48-yard line. Tackled by Young. Wiggum was there as well. 12 yards on the pass. Another first down for Miles. Try to quickly get set. And we're going to have a timeout taken by Fort Valley State with 5:37 to play here in the fourth quarter. So a good ball game to start our coverage of SIAC football here on Flow Sports. Other scores right now. Morehouse finished off that win over Central State. This time was 41-14, and that was the final score. Michael Sims goes 23 of 36 for 227 and a touchdown. Santo Dunn, 73 yards on 13 carries. So Morehouse at 3-0, and I think before the season, many people may not have thought about Morehouse as a contender in the East, but had to start paying attention after their wins. They beat Arkansas Pine Bluff, then got a win at North Alabama. Now they've got the win over Lane, and now they're beating Central State, so they'll move to 2-0 in conference play. Meanwhile, West Georgia up 24-21 on Albany State. That's in the third quarter. So SIAC action going on all around the landscape. Conference opener for both of these teams. Smith on first down, going deep again. It's Tyree, and Tyree makes the catch, and he'll stroll in for the touchdown. Leonard Tyree, his third reception of the game, and another long touchdown. That one from 48 yards, and Miles regains the lead. Leonard Tyree, fourth touchdown reception this season, his second of the night. And it's a 5-point lead for Miles. They will try the extra point. They will not go for two. This is actually an interesting call here by Miles. I like to think you want to go up by two. There's a fake, and it's quickly bottled up as the try is no good. They try to fake, and a good tackle by Fort Valley State. It was a high snap on the play, so they had to move out. Javier Russell, sophomore from Atlanta, made the stop for Fort Valley State. So it's 19-14, 5:28 to play here in the fourth quarter. So Leonard Tyree with two touchdown receptions, one for 48 yards, one for 51. And he's got over 140 yards receiving here in the second half. So we've had some big plays from both teams. And now Miles is ahead once again. So Fort Valley State, they had a feeling that the importance of this game, neither one of these teams wants to leave 0-3, starting the conference schedule with a loss. Again, one of the kickers for Miles. This time it's Jackson Spradlin. He will kick off. And again, Smothers back deep along with McCants. It's a shorter kick. I think Spradlin slipped, and that ball goes out of bounds, and Ruffin is upset. I think Spradlin slipped his plant foot as he was trying to kick it, and it went right out of bounds, and the Miles coaches all had the same reaction, and it wasn't a good one. So Fort Valley will set up shop at the 35-yard line. Now 5:28 to work with. We talked about the sustained drives being a problem for Fort Valley State. They've been able to score now. So what a mistake after you take the lead, get some momentum back. Your kicker kicks the ball right out of bounds. What a game we've had here to start things off. Our season-long coverage of SIAC football. Defending East champion, trying to avoid an 0-3 start, as is Miles. Finished second in the West last year. So 1st and 10 from the 35 after the kick out of bounds. And this handoff goes to Jordan. And Jordan is quickly bottled up. Roberts, and it looked like Floyd again on the stop. Sorry, that was Clark on that last rush. Clock moves towards the 5-minute mark here in the fourth quarter. Second and 8 from 37. Each team just one timeout remaining in this game. Brown at the top of the picture. Mack at the bottom. Smothers goes in motion. The handoff goes to Clark. Clark tries the right side and is tackled from behind by Roberts. Might have gotten a yard. They'll mark it at the 38-yard line. So come on 3rd down and 8 on this possession. It's a huge play in this game. 3rd and 8, 4:20 to play. Four wide receivers for Fort Valley. Clock now goes back to Jarman's left. Play clock inside 5. Jarman back to throw. Screen pass to Clark. Clark with room to run. Jamari Clark across the 50. And Clark is tackled after a first down at the 48-yard line. Pick up a 15 yards. So on the screen pass, Clark goes 15 yards. Another first down for Fort Valley State. Clark's first reception this evening. 3:40 to play here in the fourth quarter. Smothers to the 40-yard line. Shelton over there on the stop. Also, like it was Floyd again. Bring up second down and about 1. 9-yard gain there for Smothers. So a 39-yard line. 3 minutes to play. Fort Valley State looking for a game-winning drive. Fake to McCants. Here's Smothers in the open field. Watch out. Nice tackle there by Coleman, and a huge tackle it was, but not before. Smothers picked up a first down. It's like 9 more for Smothers. They just matriculate the ball down the field. Now they're at the 30-yard line. Smothers with 4 catches for 24 yards in the second half. 2:25 to play. Fort Valley working on the clock and trying to win the game here on this possession. Remember, each team just one timeout. Jarman, left side, Smothers. And a good tackle on that far side. I believe it was Shelton the first. Sarton was the first man there. But Smothers does get his 5th reception of the second half. Good for 2 yards. Clock runs. Now at 1:51 remaining. Second down and 8. Haven't heard from Mack or Shipman in a while. Play fake. Jarman going deep towards the end zone. Mack is there. Incomplete, but here comes the flag. Coleman on the coverage and did not turn around to look for the football. That time was a little bit too close to Mack. So that will give Fort Valley a first down. So it winds up being a 14-yard penalty. Down to the Miles 14-yard line, 1:32 to play, 5-point lead. Fort Valley looking for its first win of the season. Hadn't scored but 13 points all season. Has exceeded that total tonight. And I wonder if this will be a huge win for either one of these teams, whoever gets it. Certainly don't want to start 0-3 on any season. And then it's a conference opener for both teams. You can see this matchup again. You can see this matchup here at Miles. West champion hosts the SIAC title game. Fort Valley State trying to get a leg up as Morehouse. There's the handoff to Smothers. Smothers breaks to the hole inside the 5. He was on top of a defender. That might be a touchdown. They mark it at the 3-yard line. 11 yards for Smothers on the handoff. That'll be a first down at the 2-yard line. I thought Smothers landed on top of a defender. In any event, it's first and goal from the 3. 1:13 to play. Two receivers to the top. Smothers in motion, the handoff, and we got flags and whistles before the play gets started. So instead of first and goal at the 3, it's going to be first and goal at the 8. And unfortunately for Fort Valley State, there's no replay at this level in this conference. So even if Smothers would have gotten in, you can't challenge that play. Certainly looked like Smothers landed on top of the defender as he was being tackled. But in any event, we've got 54 seconds to play, and now Kevin Porter with a conversation with the referee. Well, you got to think Smothers is going to get a look here. Maybe Jordan. They scored at the 8-yard line of the other end of the field on a little flat play. Wonder if they go back to that one. Smothers is here at the bottom. Because here's what happened. The clock was running. And the offense committed the false start penalty with the clock running. So now there's going to be a 10-second runoff. And now it's down to 44 seconds, 44.7. So I don't know if that's good or bad for Miles because they're winding the clock. I don't know if that's good or bad for Miles. If Fort Valley scores, that's less time for Miles to score. In any event, first and goal from the 8. Here's Jordan up the middle. He's tackled at the 6. I'm surprised that they're not trying to call a timeout here. Remember, Fort Valley State needs a touchdown. It's second and goal from the 6 with 27 seconds, and now we're going to have a timeout with 24.4 remaining. Well, this game is any indication we're in for a wild ride of SIAC football. Next Saturday, 3 games will be streamed. Central State will be at Kentucky State. That's at 3 p.m. Eastern time. This crew will be in Chicago for the Chicago Football Classic as Miles and Morehouse get together next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern time. And then next Sunday, travel down to Columbia, South Carolina for the Palmetto Capital City Classic as this Fort Valley State team will take on Benedict from Charles Johnson Stadium down there in Columbia. That's at 4:30 Eastern time as well. So a big weekend of SIAC football coming your way next week on Flow Sports. Football and basketball, 50 telecasts throughout the football and basketball seasons on Flow Sports. Great to have you with us, and great to have you with us for this game here. Fort Valley State trailing by 5, but have the ball at the 6-yard line with 26 seconds remaining. That was the last timeout by Fort Valley, so they're out of timeout, so you got to think these players are going to the end zone. Clark in the backfield. 3 receivers. Smothers in the bottom along with Mack. Smothers, little motion. Jarman, left, right side, complete for the goal line. Touchdown, Fort Valley State. He's been used as a decoy all day. And in the final minute of the game, it's Jalen Loader, the sophomore from Kathleen, an 8-yard touchdown. And Fort Valley takes the lead with 21.9 remaining. And that 10-second runoff may have hurt Miles more than it helped it, as Fort Valley State, for the second time today, takes the lead. And Fort Valley State might be going, now they're going to go for one here. I guess you suppose at this point it doesn't matter if you go for one or two. Gutierrez wasn't ready, but he kicks it through the uprights. And so it will be a 2-point lead for Fort Valley State at 21-19. So Miles only needs a field goal to win, but they'll have one timeout and 21 seconds to work with. They're going to need a big kick return. So Miles' defense was as bent all day, finally breaking here in the fourth quarter. And Fort Valley State, which had scored just 13 points all season coming into today's game, able to score 14 points here in this fourth quarter. And scored on his last two possessions. And now Tyree, who's had a big game today, might be looking to get a big return. Also back deep is Marshall. Mays as well, just in case they decide to kick it short. So 21.9 seconds remaining. Remember, Miles just needs a field goal. And interesting there, when Miles scored, they end up going for two, and they ended up having to go for two because of the snap being off. They didn't get it. And so now, will it come down to a field goal for Miles? And just as A.A. Moore was saying, the kicking woes continue for Miles. 2 extra points missed, and we'll see what happens here as Gutierrez boots it deep. Here's Marshall. They need a big return from his 6. Marshall, left side, he's got room to run. Watch out. All the way out to the 34-yard line, so that was actually a pretty good play there for Terry. Got a 28-yard return and 15 seconds left, so they'll mark it at the 35-yard line. So, trying to quickly look up Miles' kickers because they could bring anybody out there. And they've struggled all season long with kicking. But they might use one of the 4 kickers that they have to try to win the game. Hamill's 0 for 2 this year on kicks. But right now, Miles thinking about getting yards and getting out of bounds. Smith, under pressure, gets outside, throws it deep, and it's tipped around, almost intercepted. It would have ended the game. A couple of players had a chance at it. Looked like the intended receiver was Hudson again. So now down to 8 seconds left. So Slade Jarman, with his team down 19-14, leads a game-winning drive, which lasts almost 5 minutes. After Fort Valley State really couldn't do much offensively in the first half. And for Miles, the struggles offensively continue. Certainly has found a combination with Smith and Tyree, but other than that, nothing much doing. 8 seconds left. Smith takes the snap, steps up. He's going to run. No, he's going to try to throw. He's taken down. And that might be the ball game. Nakeem Floyd with the sack. And that is your ball game. Fort Valley State comes to Fairfield and gets a huge come-from-behind victory over Miles. The final score, 21-19. 14 points in the fourth quarter. And Fort Valley State is 1-2. Miles falls to 0-3. What an incredible game. A seesaw battle in the fourth quarter. And Nakeem Floyd, they hadn't gotten to Smith all night, and they finally get to it. So once again, the final score, Fort Valley State 21, Miles 19, was the 8-yard touchdown pass. Actually, Miles called its last time out. With 0.6 of a second, they're going to put 0.6 of a second on the clock, so we're going to have one more play for Miles. That's incredible. So actually they've got I think they're trying to set it to 1.6. So Miles with that one timeout, able to at least get one more play. And Fort Valley State better have guys all over the goal line. So stay right here as we have now 1.6 seconds remaining. This should be the last play of the game, barring a defensive penalty. The down and distance is not important. It's going to have to be a score. Last play of the game. Three receivers to the bottom of the picture. One to the top. Mays is in the backfield. They're going to try hooking ladders, and we'll see what happens. Smith under pressure. He's got to get off the pass. He's got to throw it, and he can't get it to it. Fort Valley State with back-to-back sacks to end the game. So officially now, Fort Valley State with a 21-19 win over Miles. When we come back, we will wrap up this outstanding game as Fort Valley State comes from behind to take its first conference win of the season. You're watching SIAC Football on Flow Sports. Welcome back to Albert J. Sloan Alumni Stadium, Fairfield, where there'll be some unhappy Golden Bears walking off the field after a 21-19 loss to Fort Valley State. Fort Valley State coming back from a 6-point deficit, 14 points in the fourth quarter. And both bands are going to get going. A great win for Fort Valley State. It improves to 1-2 on the season. A pair of touchdown passes from Slade Jarman. Then for Miles, Leonard Tyree over 100-yard receiving, 2 big touchdown catches, but not enough as Miles now falls to 0-3. And Fort Valley State improves to 1-2. So once again, final score, Fort Valley State with a 21-19 win over Miles. Join us next week. We'll have the Chicago Football Classic as Miles takes on Morehouse next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time. Also, Central State will take on Kentucky State at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Then on next Sunday, the Palmetto Capital City Classic as Fort Valley State takes on Benedict at 4:30 Eastern Time. For James Crenshaw in the truck, I am Kamari Darrington up top here at Sloan Stadium saying so long from Fairfield. You've been watching SIAC Football on Flow Sports.